BJ Ross spotted a random shoe in her yard in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It wasn't hers or anyone else's in her family, so she tossed it in the trash can. Though not much later, another stray sneaker poked out of the grass. Pretty soon, finding lone footwear on her property was a daily practice that left BJ stumped. Where were the shoes coming from? Who would do such a thing? And why was her home the dumping ground? She intended to find out. At first, the shoes didn't bother BJ that much, but after a while their presence felt like trophies taken from a scene of a crime. She didn't believe anything nefarious was happening per se. It was the thought of someone wandering around her home that unsettled her. BJ's mother suggested that she hold on to the shoes to piece together the mystery, or at least in case their owners came looking for them. And while the appearances of the shoes were pretty strange, it wasn't the first time she'd found random objects in her yard. There was an inkling in the back of BJ's mind of who the culprit might be. Her cat, Jordan. The suspect was unlikely. BJ didn't think it was possible for her 6-pound kitty to carry objects that were nearly half his weight. Though this wasn't the first instance of Jordan showing up with surprising treats. On Facebook, BJ detailed the laundry list of items he'd previously brought home. Dead mice, live snakes, dead and live birds, garbage including an empty chip bag and a rubber glove. Before she'd blame Jordan for these bad deeds, BJ needed concrete proof. She decided to install a camera in her backyard to observe Jordan's nightly activities and determine once and for all the identity of the shoe bandit. When BJ rolled back the footage, she saw glowing eyes flash past the camera, and lo and behold, there was Jordan, caught red-pawed with a shoe in his mouth. All this time, her cat was leading a double life. The film revealed incredible feats of strength. Every night, Jordan made his rounds in the area, searching for shoes to steal. As the footage showed, the kitty was capable of scurrying up and over fences while maintaining a grip on the stolen goods. The saga was only the beginning. BJ needed to know more about these escapades. See, during the day, Jordan presents like your average house cat. In fact, he seems pretty lazy, napping the day away. Now his family knows. All those hours spent snoozing were actually intentional rest in preparation for his nights of thieving. They needed to know the depths of his activity. If Jordan were a person, his smug little way of flaunting his stolen goods wouldn't be nearly as charming. However, because he's a naughty, fluffy cat burglar, his backyard patch of wrongdoing is pretty dang cute. BJ was floored by Jordan's nighttime habits. After the impressive display of his cat reflexes and agility, she was curious to see how far he was traveling each night. So, she fixed a GPS tracker to Jordan's collar, and the results they gathered were even crazier. Looking at Jordan's route on a typical night prowling for shoes revealed to be much more involved than BJ imagined. In a single evening, her cat covered between 7 and 8 miles of ground. With the mystery solved, BJ turned to solve the other glaring problem. Her home was a hub for all Jordan's loot. She decided to make a Facebook group in order to come clean about her kitty cat's crimes and return all that he'd stolen. Thankfully, all of BJ's neighbors took the cat burglar news pretty well. They were happy to track down the location of their children's boots and slightly honored that Jordan had chosen their footwear to target. Many people joined the Facebook group to encourage Jordan's life of crime. They love tracking his nightly progress to see how far he's gone or what he's dragged home on his latest haul. Jordan might be the most transparent thief in history. Throughout the exposure of his criminal career, Jordan didn't show a shred of remorse. In fact, he seemed satisfied with all the attention. The mark of a true maniac. Just when everyone thought the jig was up, the bad boy cat kept thieving. Since his criminal reveal, Jordan's stolen shoe count has passed 50 pairs and only continues to rise. Sometimes he watches indifferently as the neighbors collect their shoes, the ultimate power move. Will this guy ever learn? If the public has any say, then probably not. The more he steals, the more people love him. Jordan receives tons of fan mail, from packages loaded with treats and toys to portraits and letters. Every once in a while, he sent a spare shoe to add to his collection. News of the cat shoe swiping operation gathered viral attention. The local press tried to get a comment from Jordan in a response, but he had nothing to say. With a swish of his tail, he traipsed off down the road. When it comes to her sticky-pawed feline, BJ has a major moral blind spot. Despite his bad behavior, Jordan is still very much her beloved baby. He's still welcomed home warmly each night after depositing his plunder. Jordan is proof that the neighborhood cats and dogs that wander the streets might not be as innocent as they seem.